Can you become fluent in French using only Duolingo? Let's find out. I was never good at French, and in school, I found myself taking it. I felt like I was always the worst, and I could never understand it. And frankly, this made me hate French throughout school. But was it the French language itself, or was it because I was taught in a classroom? Or perhaps it was being forced to learn a language. Either way, I just didn't like it. One day I found myself browsing on YouTube and I stumbled upon language learning channels for the first time. Some were cool and humble and others were narcissistic and annoying. Not gonna say any names. Anyways, seeing what these people could do, it really inspired me, and I thought to myself I would finally be able to learn the language that I dreaded. So that was it. I decided to challenge myself to become fluent in French. So the challenge began, but where did I start? I didn't really know any French speakers or anyone who had learned the language before. And a quick Google search brought me straight to Duolingo. So I guess that was it. Duolingo, me, and French. Looking back now and being experienced in Duolingo, I'll tell you what I've enjoyed and what I haven't enjoyed and my general thoughts. First, what I enjoyed. I enjoyed how Duolingo starts you off pretty simple and doesn't overcomplicate the initial process. And I enjoyed the comment sections that were below each question, a feature for whatever reason they removed. Now, what I don't like. Now I can be here for a while, but I'll try not to be. Firstly, and most hated by me, is the repetition. You get the same questions over and over again. For example, tu manges pizza, or something like that. At first this is fine, as you're getting your grip on the language, but eventually hearing the same question so often made me zone out and not pay attention at all, and I just wanted to complete my lesson. This led me to not even absorbing the information and forgetting easy answers. And this eventually got so bad that I realized I'd forgotten whole sections, tons of lessons, whole topics, important information, all because learning became a chore. This takes us into the second thing I don't like, and that's the gamification of Duolingo. By this I mean how Duolingo seems to prioritize your attention and monetization compared to actually learning. With things like the heart system and the ranking, I'm going to talk about how all this ties into motivation. It seems the only way Duolingo tries to motivate and reward you is through reminders and notifications through the app or your email, and by the ranking system. And largely, if you don't follow Duolingo's learning strategy to a T, you're punished. Let me explain. What I noticed is the arbitrary nature of the system. On one hand, it's kind and it wants to help you where it can, but it isn't consistent. For example, misspelling a word won't result in losing a heart, but other times it will. And this personally makes me unmotivated, because after a stressed out or a busy day, I just want to sit down, relax, and learn, even a bit. And I don't want to be punished when I don't do arbitrarily good enough. And this would all be okay. I made a mistake, now I go back to the lesson, and I retry. But no, if you run out of hearts, you fail. And it becomes an annoying task to get them back again, especially after a stressed out day. And what's worse is that you either have to be completely out of hearts to practice, or you have to pay for Duolingo Super, which is their upgraded paid plan. This makes learning stressful instead of relaxed, as you have to worry about your hearts and the hassle of getting them back. The last thing I don't like, and to make it somewhat short, I don't enjoy the horrible artificial voices in the listening exercises or the matching exercises. They aren't accurate to actual French, and in some cases are completely false. along with the inconsistent speed. Personally, I think a much easier answer would be to have native speakers say words and phrases, and for the system to put them together in new, unique sentences instead of using these bad artificial voices. Now's the part where you probably expect me to record myself as I speak, prop myself up, and show just how special and smart I am as I shock French native speakers. But no, I'm not gonna do that. So, what have I actually learned, and where do I stand now? Honestly, after 2 years of Duolingo, inconsistent, I might add, sometimes no lesson, sometimes one lesson a day, sometimes I only review old stuff. Well, as of today, I have a 550-day streak, though this doesn't reflect my skill level. Okay, so what can I actually do? Well, I can do introductions for myself and others, directions, I can talk about things I enjoy, I can talk about food, travel, work, shopping, and I know some numbers. That's pretty much it. There's more I could list, but it'd be difficult to remember it all. It was quite a lot. So, 2+ years of Duolingo, off and on, and I'm still not fluent. Not even close. And to be honest, this makes me disappointed in myself. It isn't like I haven't been trying, it's just Duolingo I feel is counterintuitive to learning. Some days when motivation was high, I would spend up to 4 hours plus on Duolingo. And other days, I could just barely do one lesson. So after 2 years now of learning French using Duolingo, I don't plan on stopping learning the language, though I definitely don't want to use Duolingo much more. Sadly, I find it really hard to find a good learning resource. With that said, if you guys have any learning resources or any video suggestions or what I should learn next, please let me know. Thank you, and please like and subscribe. First, what I've enjoyed. I enjoy how Duolingo starts British accent for some reason. Can you become fluent in French using only Duolingo? Let's find out. I decided to become French. What the hell? I decided to become French. It makes no sense. I decided to learn French. Oh my gosh, I can't read. This made me hate French. Frankly, I can't speak. And frankly, this made me hate French throughout school. I always felt like I never understood, and I frankly hated the language. I am Morgan Freeman. Arthur, it's me, Jack. Oh, Arthur, my boy, we need money to get to Tahiti. I don't know, Dutch. I gave you my money. I gave you my life. You trust in the market of the world.